This program is sponsored by Dave Stahl.
Welcome back to Hour 2 of Gun Sports Radio, where your hosts Dave Stahl, Lance Pelkey, and Michael Schwartz educate you on anything and everything related to our Second Amendment right. Visit gunsportsradio.com with your questions and comments, or to learn how to become a sponsor and or guest of the show. Now here comes Hour 2 of Gun Sports Radio, and your hosts Dave, Lance, and Michael.
All right, folks. Absolutely. Welcome back to Gun Sports Radio, Hour 2. We're here on FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Hey, folks, you could always go to any of your favorite podcast platforms, listen to any of the shows at gunsportsradio.com. You can go to San Bernardino County Gun Owners if you want to watch us live on Facebook Live. And this hour is brought to you by our good friends at Cali Key. Drop in a Cali Key into any AR-15 or AR-10 to instantly make it California compliant. For more information, check out Cali Key at calikey.com. That's KALIKEY.com. Hey, self-defense and emergencies can happen to anyone, and unfortunately, the justice system may not be on your side. While you protect your family and property, U.S. Law Shield is here to defend you 24/7. 365 days a year with a comprehensive self-defense coverage at an affordable price. Remember, bad guys don't take days off, and neither does U.S. Law Shield. What's your plan after you defend yourself or your family? Consider a plan from U.S. Law Shield. Check them out today at uslawshield.com. That's uslawshield.com. All right, this segment is brought to you by the San Bernardino County Gun Owners. Go to SDCGO.org. Join today and make your voice heard. And right now, we got the covert blogger, Joe Drammissi. What are you going to talk about today, Hollywood?
Yeah, here to make my voice heard.
Yes, indeed. What are you going to talk about?
Well, actually, I was inspired by last week we had Judy Wells and Kathy Smith talking about dry fire practice. And I thought, it's a good thing since I think, what did I call it this week? I said lockdown got you down or something like that. But this is a good thing to do while we're all stuck in the house.
You go home and do it?
No, it's not do what I say, not what I do.
Oh, I got it.
But this is a good time because the thing with the dry fire stuff is the consistency, and if you can get into the habit of doing it, because I know this from experience though, because I know when I get into the habit and I'm doing it a couple of times a week and I can do that for a couple of weeks in a row, I see a definite difference in my shooting on the matches. And I notice, like when I'm doing what I'm doing now, where I don't do it every week, I also see a definite difference. So it's a good thing to do. And Judy and Kathy only got to talk about it for a few minutes. So I thought, well, let me write about it. And I started writing about it, and I discovered that okay, I can't do this in one article here. I need to spread it out. So I'm going to do 3 different ones. And what I wrote about this week was just the setup. What you have to do. What is dry fire practice basically is doing things that you can do with your firearm that's not loaded and doing that around the house. And so I talk about, you want to do it in the same place. I think Judy and Kathy hit this stuff too. You want to pick a room in the house and do it in the same place all the time because everything's about safety. Mm-hmm. And the more consistent you could be, the more you could form that habit, the less likely you are to have an accident or a problem. So, finding a good place in the house, putting up a good target, like where I do it, and I've got a room in my house where, I'm facing an interior wall, and I don't do it if somebody else is in the house. So it's, I'll wait until I'm by myself in the house and then do it. And I put targets up on the wall, so I don't aim at, a picture or something like that. You want to aim at a real target. And there's a number of things you can do that really work well with dry fire that you could practice at home. And then what you want to do is you want to practice it at home. And then when you go to the range, then you kind of confirm it and you take it to the next level. But like for those of us with a concealed carry, one of the things that's really important is being able to draw quickly and effectively, or efficiently anyway, from concealment. And they say kind of the standard, what you're shooting for is about 1.5 seconds from draw to first shot from concealment. If you watch any John Correa's videos, which I always recommend people watch because it's just great free education there, but you'll hear him say that, the standard kind of is about 1.5 seconds. And it's harder than it sounds. If you're new to concealed carry, you need to practice that because it's a standard 4-step draw. And in the article, I linked the 2 different videos, one showing the draw process from an open carry, one showing it from concealed. And they're essentially the same. It's just you add a step with the concealed carry. You've got to clear your cover garment first. And people should practice that. They should practice that draw with the clothing they typically wear. And you can download a kind of a shot timer app that'll work on your phone. You could set different times. So you could set, okay, I'll set the par time at 1.5 seconds, and then I'll do my draw and see if I can beat the buzzer that goes off. And it's something people should do and you should work with. I actually picked up a blue gun, which is just a plastic replica of the gun that I carry, because I thought, okay, this saves me from having to take my carry gun and unload it and check it clear and all that stuff. I could practice the draw with the blue gun. And so it's something that you should do. Practice it at home, get good with it a little bit, or get comfortable with it. And then the next thing you want to do is take it to the range and practice that as well, because drawing in a second and a half is okay, but if the shot's not going exactly where you want it to go, then that doesn't help you. And really the good way to verify that is you have to be able to do it at the range. A lot of times at the range, like at Poway Weapons and Gear, they'll want you to go through a little certification thing because they want to make sure you're safe before they'll let you work from a holster there, which is fine. If your range doesn't do that, maybe you need to find a different range or something, because you need to be able to practice at the range. And it's interesting, if you're practicing at home with the dry fire and you're getting your draw to first shot and you're doing it 1.3 seconds or something, you do that at the range, you'll probably discover that your shot's not going where you want it to go at 1.3 seconds. You're going to have to dial it down a little bit and then work at speeding it back up and keeping your accuracy. So this week I talked about doing that. I think next week I'll do part 2 because there's other things that you could practice. Once you've got the mechanics of the draw down, there's the grip, because you want to come out of the draw in your proper firing grip. You don't want to be adjusting your hands as you're coming up to get the sight picture. So again, that's another thing you can do, because once you come up onto the sight from the draw, stop and look at your hands. Are your hands where you want them to be? Are your hands exactly the correct place? Because, I went through all this when I was dry fire practicing, and I will start doing it again. But, it has to do with when you first grab the gun, step 1 of the draw process, you want to get a good firing grip on that. If you goof that up, then when you're bringing the gun up, it's going to be wrong, and you're going to be moving your hands around as you're doing it. And all that just takes away from your drawing. Coming up into a good sight picture is another thing you could practice with the dry fire. When you come up with the draw and you're on target, stop and say, okay, is my sight the way it's supposed to be? Am I right where I'm supposed to be? Or do I have to move things around a little bit or adjust? So these are all things you can practice dry firing and then bring it to the next stage at the range. So I think the second, next week's article probably, I'll talk about the getting the proper grip, getting a good sight picture. The third good thing you can do with dry fire is trigger control. Practicing, pulling the trigger, pressing it evenly, getting a surprise break, following through, going all the way through till it doesn't go anymore. When you're doing it unloaded, you'll have to reset. You have to rack the slide at that point. But keep your finger on the trigger and then slowly come back out and feel that reset. All of that stuff makes a big difference when you're shooting. If you're doing it with dry fire, when you pull and you get that surprise break, if you're focused on the front sight, you'll be able to see if your sight is dipping, which a lot of people do, or if it's moving at all, if it's staying still. So these are all things you can do with dry fire practice. So I thought I'd write about that next week, and then the following week I'll go through the malfunctions and clearing those, because I was going to write about all this stuff, and I got into it. And I thought, he doesn't have nobody's going to read it.
He doesn't have enough bandwidth.
I do. Readers don't. So
I know there's a lot of precision guys that swear by dry fire practice because you don't develop a flinch.
Well, and if you read about most competitive shooters do it. It's part of their practice routine. They all do it, and and it's good for beginners. It's good for people that are really experienced and expert, because you want to get to the point, especially with the trigger control part, where it's natural. You're not thinking about it. And if you probably remember from going through front sight, those courses, they do those drills over and over again where they make you slowly press, you fire the round, you keep your finger on the trigger, you come back out and feel the reset. And you'll see a difference as you practice that. You'll see your shots going where you want them to go. And, it's a great thing for people to do. So I thought, during this downtime, we're stuck at home anyway, this is a good time to develop the habit. If you can get in the habit of doing this, and I think Judy mentioned this last week, your dry fire practice session should be short, about 15 seconds or so. You'll get more out of, 3 15-minute dry fire sessions in a week than you will out of 1 hour of dry fire each week. So you want to do them in about 15-minute chunks. But if you could develop that over a couple of weeks, get in the habit of doing it, you'll see a big improvement. So that's what we were talking about.
So just imagine how much better you'd be, more accurate, faster, if 3 times a week you just drew from concealment out of the holster, 10, 20 times, did that 2-3 times a week.
Yep.
Imagine how much smoother and more accurate you'd be.
And again, put it on a timer. Either set a timer or use a timer on your phone or download a little shot timer app or something. But you'll see as you're timing yourself and you're trying to beat that, okay, you start at 2 seconds or something, then you go to 1.8, 1.7, and try to back it down until you can go like that. You'll see a big improvement. Once you start doing that part, then start paying attention to your sight picture. When you come up, okay, and the buzzer goes off and you stop, okay, what do my hands look like? Are they where they're supposed to be? What's the sight picture look like? Am I crooked? Am I up? Am I over? Am I right where I'm supposed to be? And you can practice all that stuff, and then when we get back to the range, you can apply all of it.
Practice makes perfect. No matter
or at least permanent anyway.
At least. All right, we're going to take a quick break. There's a whole lot more right here on Gun Sports Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Folks, welcome back. You're listening to Gun Sports Radio, FM 96.1 AM 1170.
The Answer.
Hey, California's assault weapon laws makes it almost impossible to own an AR pattern rifle. What's the solution? Cali Key converts any mil-spec direct impingement AR platform rifle into a straight full-bolt action rifle so it can have all the features without being considered an assault weapon. It's a true drop-in solution. No milling, no aesthetic modifications, no turning off your gas systems. Keeps your entire AR collection intact at a price you can afford with Cali Key. Check out Cali Key at calikey.com, KALIKEY.com. This segment is brought to you by the good folks at U.S. Law Shields. For major protection, uslawshield.com. Check them out. Lance, we ought to get Cali Key to come in again and have him talk about how he came up with the Cali Key, just as a guest.
Yeah, he does an amazing job.
Yeah, I mean, like Michael says, he's trying to work himself out of business.
Escanio.
I can't say that word. It's too hard for me.
That guy's awesome.
Yeah.
If you're listening, happy Easter, Escanio.
Yeah, absolutely. Great Easter card you sent me. I really appreciate it. I tried to share it. It didn't work. I guess you got to pay for it.
So we're supposed to, I don't know where he is. He must be celebrating Easter. We're supposed to have Oceanside City Council member Christopher
He's on an Easter egg hunt.
I guess so. He said he was going to call. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he's held up. But it's pretty interesting. I was going to have him come and talk about what's going on in Oceanside. Oceanside, if you guys haven't heard, rather controversial. They fought real hard to not close down the beaches, which is,
crazy.
Kind of crazy. They really didn't. What I mean is closing down the beaches was kind of crazy. I mean, people were walking and jogging on the beach. It wasn't, I get if they said, hey, look, the health department says stay 6 feet apart. So you know what, everybody, do us a solid.
But they're not doing it.
Stay 6 feet apart. But to completely ban people from the beaches, I don't know.
I was told, because I've been talking on TV, get in your car with your family on Sunday, go for a drive, go to the desert, and I didn't say anything about going to the beaches. Guy texts me and he says, I just seen a police officer arrest this husband and wife because they were parked looking at the ocean.
Well, there was a story where they ticketed. I think it was they didn't arrest. I don't want to spread inaccurate.
I'm sorry, you're right.
There was an article where they ticketed. I think it was 22 people who were watching a sunset. I'm not sure that's a great idea
What, ticketing them or watching a sunset?
Ticketing them for watching a sunset. I just don't know if you're putting a lot of people in danger by sitting in your car. So, but anyway, Oceanside said, hey, we're not going to shut down the beaches, and they got some flack. And then the reason I wanted Chris to come on is because he at a city council meeting last week was saying, hey, how do we get out from underneath this health department order and start opening up business again? Because this is ridiculous. It's hurting people. It's hurting business. And we're not so sure that it's been effective. So I really wanted to hear from, a local elected leader who is, bucking the trend and saying, hey, we got to do something. We got to move forward. I don't think I agree with the mainstream.
No.
It'll be interesting to see the what kind of discussion results after all this is said and done, because I think there's going to be a lot of feeling that, okay, maybe the response was a bit over the top and we did a lot more damage maybe than was warranted by this thing, because you see stories all over the place of people getting carried away. There was a story about a church, several churches actually, that were planning to do Easter services, and I can't remember where this was now. I would say it was in the South, but they were going to do them at a drive-in. So everybody's going to be in their car, parked in a drive-in, and then they were going to do the service that way. And they were threatened with being arrested, and there was a big deal about that. And that's the kind of stuff I think is going a little bit over the top with these things. So it'll be interesting to see the discussion that goes on. Hopefully Americans will get involved in this, and hopefully a lot of political leaders, because I think Carl DeMaio the other day was saying, well, where are the Republicans in all this? Speaking up about these rights that are being trampled and questioning this stuff. And, I think he's got a pretty good point. So it'll be interesting to see if we have a good discussion in the next 6 months over this stuff.
Well, part of me kind of hopes that, I don't know, let it happen, because you're kind of I think that the people that are going overboard are digging their hole deeper and deeper and deeper. The Nathan Fletchers, like we have here in San Diego, Nathan Fletcher's a county supervisor, is getting to be so extreme. Okay, great, keep digging your hole deeper and deeper. I mean, you're showing yourselves to be even more and more ridiculous. And where they've painted themselves into a corner is, this whole thing started because we were told 2.2 million people were going to die. Period. Yeah, this is going to happen. Now they said, well, this is the top end. It's a spectrum, but still 2.2 million people.
And they stayed with that for quite a while. And then it dropped down to about 240,000. And now there's it's at 60.
It's like 60,000, which is a bad flu season. So now the corner they've painted themselves into is they either deny science, they either say, oh, no, the scientists were all wrong. They weren't, 2.2 million people weren't going to. So either deny science or admit that Trump saved 2 million lives. One of the two. That's the corner. And I know, like, again, Supervisor Nathan Fletcher, I'm not sure which one he's gonna have to admit to. Is he gonna have to say, hey, this guy Trump, who I hate, saved 2 million lives? Or is he gonna have to admit, hey, these scientists that I, did all these things, I reacted to, were completely and totally wrong?
Well, and that's what I'm saying too. And I hope they get that discussion. I hope they don't let them just bury it and let it go away.
That's what they're going to try to do.
They will, and that's what Carl was saying.
And that's why Carl's saying, where's the Republicans?
Where are
this?
they? So hopefully they will show up, and we'll have a good discussion, because it's going to be an interesting couple of months between the end of this, which hopefully will be soon, and the election in November.
Okay, so if you're watching somebody dig a hole that is not good for them, wouldn't you just sit back and let them keep digging? Until it's over.
But I want to point out the hole afterwards.
Yeah, but you got to wait till they're all done and they're in China and they didn't know how they're going to get back. That's when you should bring it up.
When they look up at you and say, boy, I feel really short. That's when you point out, well, that's because you dug yourself into a hole.
Yeah, I know. And I keep bringing this up. I mean, I live in Alpine. There's 15,000 people. We have not had one case, okay? All the grocery stores are, not closed, but all the restaurants are closed. All the businesses are closed. Everybody's doing social distancing. We're all wearing masks. We're all doing this. And it hasn't changed anything. Of course, my wife, I told her, I says, we ought to open them up. Well, then what about the people that would come up out of San Diego that may have it and bring it to Alpine? And I go, okay, well, you got a point. That could be. But, I mean, you can only push this narrative for so far.
Well, I'm wearing a mask right now.
And a rag around your microphone.
And a rag around my microphone because this studio is filthy dirty, frankly. But...
Thank you very much.
When there's no pandemic, this studio has people
1-800 Michael Schwartz for any complaints, Casey.
Traipsing in and spitting all over the mic, and then I got to put my face next to it.
I took your snot thingy off and I scrubbed your mic for you.
But I don't think I think that people doing this socially distancing. There's a case to be made that we stopped the spread of the coronavirus. But I don't think it should have to be mandated. I'm not wearing this mask because I'm mandated. I'm wearing this mask because I made the choice that.
Well, and I think you should.
Yeah.
And I think when we go out, when things open back up again, I'm going to be a little more aware of washing my hands. And, I don't know about necessarily wearing a mask, but, I get where you're coming from. Because right now they put the fear of God in us. And it's going to take a lot to get that out.
But I don't think we should be making the case that social distancing did nothing. Hell yeah, it's not.
No, I think that's what stopped it.
But should it have been mandated? Should it have gone as far as possible? But yeah, I think that the steps taken saved 2 million lives.
Well, there's a difference though between social distancing and doing that stuff and shutting down businesses.
100%.
And that's what I'm saying is it was not necessary to shut down businesses. The social distancing stuff, look at what the gun shops are doing. I mean, they handled that great. I was at Iowa Meats the other day. It was actually better now during the crisis. They had everybody, they had the lines outside. I mean, It was easier to get in there. It was easier to buy stuff. It's easier to get out. But, you can do that kind of stuff without shutting businesses down.
What'd you buy, by the way?
Oh, I found, you know what? Remember?
Some Newskis?
No. Remember Benny's Meats? Do you guys are familiar with Benny's Meats? And the guy was around a long time ago, had a little pencil-thin mustache down in El Cajon. Great meat place. And Benny's still around, but he doesn't sell retail. But in Iowa Meats, they had Benny's carne asada hot dogs. Oh, which were that was a discovery.
Hot dogs.
I picked that up.
I hope Eileen's not listening.
Wow,
because you know what you're getting for dinner tomorrow night.
How do we get sponsored by Iowa Meats? Man, that place is awesome. Well, give them a call or something. But.
Cohen Family Restaurants.
That's who owns it.
Yep.
Well, I just.
Oh, and you're going to take product instead of money?
In a heartbeat, depending on the product.
They have wild boar on Dewey too.
But I think I think there's a case to be made that I think you can simultaneously make the case that yes, it slowed COVID-19, the spread of COVID-19 down, and yes, it was the steps we took went way, way, way too far. Went way, way, way too far. But like I said, the interesting thing is going to be watching those who hate Trump try to explain why either science isn't science or why Trump didn't save 2 million lives. Good luck.
Because the other thing, too, is, I mean, like in New York City, I mean, they had a real problem there.
Well, see, now that's a different situation. You got people so packed together.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And that spilled over into New Jersey. It gave them the problem, too. Sure. But like out here in California, we had a lot less than they were expecting. Yeah. And I think I saw the other day, I think they said there were 18,000 confirmed cases in California. Does that make sense?
I don't know about cases, but as far as deaths, I think California is at like 400, 500, somewhere in that range.
Right, which is much lower than they were predicting. But again, even, if they're saying confirmed cases, the real number is probably at least 10 times higher, maybe more. But that's 180,000 out of 40 million people. And again, social distancing is okay, but to shut down the economy, because like I said, there are people that are going to lose homes, lose businesses, all that kind of stuff. And you have to ask, was it worth it?
Is this the only thing we could have done? And I don't think this is the only thing we could have done.
Is the, trying to correct it worse than the actual epidemic?
Yeah, we just went over 21,000 deaths in the U.S. Like half of those are Manhattan and northern New Jersey. You have state. You guys know that there's one state that hasn't had a single death. Do you guys know what state that is?
Wyoming.
Wyoming hasn't had a single death. Does that mean they're doing something right?
Because they don't see each other.
I don't know if that means they're doing something right.
They don't see each other.
And then, Joe, you were saying, Florida, if you look at Florida, New York, and California, and their reaction, and then what the result is, none of it makes any sense.
Well, in Oklahoma, like they're saying, didn't even shut down. So you would think that, California shut down fairly early. Mm-hmm. Florida, they say, shut down kind of late. and then
now they're going to open.
Didn't shut down at all, and there is no discernible difference there.
Well, Oklahoma's going to open back up. They're already talking about it. They're already saying.
I don't think they ever shut down. But because Florida's going to open back up. They said
it's just the numbers don't match up.
Well, there you go.
All right.
Oklahoma.
No singing. All right, let's take a quick break. You're listening to Gun Sports Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Sports Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Hey, you need to take a CCW class for your San Diego CCW? You want an Arizona, Florida, or multi-state CCW? Well, visit CCWUSA.com. That's CCW USA. Offers small class sizes and expert instruction to fit your schedule and your wallet. 3 classes every month, 2 weekend classes, all starting at 8 a.m. Classes fill up quickly, so book now. Private lessons are also available. Great dates and times to meet your busy schedule. Check their website for details on how to apply for your San Diego or other multi-state CCW at CCWUSA.com. That's CCWUSA.com. All right, folks, have you been to A.O. Sword Firearms? Well, let me tell you what. They've got the widest selection of guns in San Diego County. Used to have a lot of used shotguns, but unfortunately, Dave decided to do a fire sale and kind of lost them all because they're gone. But he can get more. They've got over 600 unique guns in stock, including hundreds of used guns. Go see their full-service experienced gunsmith. They can do everything from mild repair to full custom firearms. A.O. Sword Firearms store located on 929 East Main Street in the lovely city of El Cajon. Go to their website at aosword.com, or you can give them a call at 619-749-4867. Build, buy, or repair. A.O. Sword Firearms is your go-to place for all things firearms. That's aosword.com, or you can call them at 619-749-4867. So who we got on the line? David Chong.
There he is.
How you doing, bud?
Happy Resurrection Sunday, brothers.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much,
Easter.
and same to you as well.
Good stuff. We're always closed on Sunday, so nothing new there. We are doing a little goofy thing for the second Monday in a row. Business was so wonderful, but also overwhelming. I gave my staff Monday off, and we'll be back at it on Tuesday. But
that's awesome.
They needed a 2-day weekend, and I'm glad to give it to them. Those people, and I know you hear it from the people coming out of the shop. We take time with every person, and we do treat them like family, but that means a lot of intensive time, saying, so what kind of place do you live in? What are you buying for? What's your experience? And we'll observe them, handling a firearm and make suggestions based upon what they want and need, not what we want to put in their hands. So, it's just very intensive, and so they needed a break, and 2 days off is a good thing.
You're not just slinging product; you're solving problems.
There you go. Absolutely.
You can steal that from me if you want to, David.
Thank you. Yeah, it'll be on the new copy. Yeah. I heard some anti-gunners were going to defy the stay-at-home orders and go camping, but they decided not to. Did you hear that?
No.
Yeah, they found out it was intense.
Thanks, Brandon.
He was waiting for it.
Yeah, I think he was too. That's awesome.
We have still. I'm not sure what you talked about with our friends over at Gun Range San Diego. Did you talk about the retail landscape? What's going on?
No, they're closed.
Yeah, they gave the day off.
They took the day off.
Eastered out.
Right on. Yeah. Well, it's more of the same. We are not at that just absolutely, unsustainable is the right word. flat out everything that's has a trigger sells. We're now at about half of what that was, which is still 5 times what we normally do.
Great.
We have managed to get several restocks, and they're I wouldn't say we're not restocked, but now we actually have Glocks for 2 days on the shelves, or XDs that last a day and a half. The shotguns still fly off the shelf. I've got about 20 shotguns in the last, and I'm talking tactical shotguns,
right?
In the last week, and every one that hits the floor is they're gone by the end of the day for sure.
Hey, David, are you still seeing the long delays with the DROS system?
Unfortunately, yes. They're actually extending. So our pace of sales has slowed, and yet we're instead of seeing at first we were seeing an hour or two after the pickup time, and now they're not even attempting to finish it on the same day. We're seeing multiple days slide, and so we at the twice a day I have a staff member pull off the floor just to run through a stack of wasn't approved on time files, and go through each and every DROS. It's the only way. They don't. It's not a positive, an affirmative confirmation. They don't say, "Hey, we approved them now. You can go ahead and call them." We have to continually check over and over: Are they approved yet? Are they approved yet? Are they approved yet? Very frustrating.
Well, I think I did mine on the 16th of last month, and as far as I know, it still is not through.
Still pending.
Is that typical or is that unusual?
That is.
Should I be worried?
I don't think you should be worried. I also think it's not typical. Joe, when's the last time you bought a gun?
Probably about 6 months.
Sorry to out you.
No, I think about 6 months ago, before the one I'm trying to get now. Yeah, it's been about 6 months.
So that is surprising. Maybe it is becoming more typical. We're still seeing about, I would say 1 in 5. Maybe it's now we climbed to 1 in 4 people who have delayed. It has helped that we put out a Facebook post that said, "Hey, folks, this is becoming pretty regular. Please don't come in on your due day. Give it a day or two." And people seem to have been doing that, and when they come in, it's approved. However,
hey Dave, let me just throw this in here. Does it make a difference, you think, what type of firearm Joe's buying?
I have not seen that. What I have seen is that new buyers, like brand new buyers, seem to be the bulk of the folks who don't get approved immediately. However, I've got 95% new buyers, so that anecdote may not hold water.
So what's a recommendation for Joe?
Just keep waiting for our phone call.
Okay, so
that's good. Fortunately, I'm not in a hurry or anything. I just thought I'd ask.
Yeah, right.
That's actually good information, and maybe you can give some information, David, that would kind of apply, across the whole spectrum here. If you bought a gun in the last, I'm assuming the last 30 days. What do you recommend? First off, if you're wait 12 days rather than 10, right?
Right. That's what I'm suggesting, and I realize that's a problem. And God bless you. I know you want to call and ask, "Hey, am I approved?" But in the time it takes the person answering the phone to log into the DES and run, query your background, it's too much time. Not just for my shop, but I would venture to say any shop right now doesn't have that kind of time. We're still seeing towards the beginning of the day, hour-and-a-half lines in front of our shop. By the end of the day, it's calming down. I would say you might only have a half-hour wait now by noon, and that kind of ebbs and flows between no wait and an hour wait through to the end of the day.
So wait till the 12th day, and then go down to the shop in the afternoon, and still be patient and understanding. Is that? And
then if not, don't we have Newsom's phone number?
Yeah, I got his phone number.
Right.
Can you imagine if everybody that's been waiting starts calling his office?
It'd be that'd be. I'd like to hear that. I'd like to hear that phone ringing.
I'm just saying. I mean, it's not your fault.
What a great idea.
Right.
Instead of calling the gun shop, call
don't call the gun shop. Call his office. Just
We need to get that phone number.
Be polite. Don't be a knucklehead. Be polite and said, hey, I've been waiting, X amount of days.
Right.
I went through all your process and hello.
Yeah.
And then just wait for an answer.
We have not seen it go undetermined more than 14 days, but that's our max right now, and there's a few that are at 14 and still counting.
David,
except for Joe.
David, we have Joe here.
What's your date?
From the 16th of last month. So that's when I filled it out.
So he's like 4 days away from a month.
Now, when I did it, though, the system was down. They filled it out by hand, and then they were going to submit that later. So I don't have a sheet to look at. Well, but I know I filled it out on the 16th.
But he has to go, David. He has to go in and check, right? He it's not like
no. So again, twice a day, once about the middle of the day and once at the end of the day, we have one of our staff pull off of the counter and go to the back, and we have a bin of people who came in for delivery and they were not approved. It's frustrating. They're in limbo because it's not delayed. We're used to delays. We know how to handle a delay. Hey, sorry, they said you're delayed. We can't deliver it yet. We'll let you know when they say you're approved. And when it is delayed, they do say, hey, we figured this out. You are approved. And that's a positive confirmation. That's a push notice to us that, rings our bell to, okay, hey, we can contact the customer now. There is no push notification from the DOJ saying, hey, sorry, we're late. We got through it. They're approved. So we have to constantly check every single person who's been in limbo.
Will Joe be at your office Tuesday and let him go through the box?
No, I won't, David. That's okay. I know Bryce is going to call me when it comes in.
That's right. And I'll say for our shop, I can't speak for everybody, but I'm working all afternoon and evening every day, and so if you send an email saying, "Hey, am I approved yet?" I will answer that email in the evenings.
His application's in the bottom of the bird cage. I got a feeling.
Oh man, no, I looked at it personally because I thought, "Hey, gosh, this guy's on the radio. I better figure this out."
Yeah, and he's a covert blogger, and the last thing you want is a covert blogger on your bad side.
Joe, I got to tell you, that's really good stuff. You're giving good advice. I'm saying that as a NRA and San Diego County Sheriff certified instructor. Your blog has really good tips on that dry fire stuff.
Well, thank you, David, because coming from you, that means a lot for me.
Yeah.
Really. So that's I'm glad to hear that. Thank you.
Wow, you might even get a raise.
Yeah, double maybe.
Triple.
Yeah.
Triple. Thanks a lot, Dave. We sure appreciate it every time you call in, and keep up the good work, and go look for his application. It's got to be over there someplace.
Yeah, we'll check it out.
It's in the bottom of the box.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter, my friend.
Easter.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, more Gun Sports Radio on FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Folks, welcome back. This is Gun Sports Radio. Happy Easter. FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Hey, California's assault weapon laws makes it almost impossible to own an AR pattern rifle. What's the solution? Cali Key converts any mil-spec direct impingement AR platform rifle into a straight pull-bolt action rifle so it can have all the features without being considered an assault weapon. It's a true drop-in solution. No milling, no aesthetic modifications, no turning off your gas system. Keep your entire AR collection intact at a price you can afford. That's Cali Key. Check Cali Key out at CaliKey.com. That's KALIKEY.com. Hey, and for self-defense and emergencies that can happen to anyone at any time, and unfortunately the justice system may not be on your side. While you protect your family and protect your property, U.S. Law Shield is here to defend you 24/7, 365 days a year with the comprehensive self-defense coverage at an affordable price. Bad guys don't take days off, and neither does U.S. Law Shield. What's your plan after you defend yourself or your family? Consider a plan from U.S. Law Shield. Check them out today at uslawshield.com. That's uslawshield.com. Hey, the refi bell has been ringing for many, many days. Home mortgage interest rates have dropped to a historic low. And if you're looking to buy a refi, or if you're considering a reverse mortgage, call our local mortgage guy that you can trust. Call Chris Wiley at PRMI Mortgage for nearly 25 years. Chris has been helping local San Diegans with all their mortgage needs. Give Chris a call at 619-722-1303 or go to primeres.com/Alpine.
All right, here we are.
Here we are.
Our last and most popular segment is Stump, my nephew. Sam the Gunman is my 20-year-old nephew, and we found out just a couple years ago here, about a year ago, year and a half ago, something like that, that he knows an extraordinary amount about gun history and gun trivia. So if you send us a question to ask him, we will, and we use it on the air, we will send you a T-shirt. If you stump him with that question and he is unable to answer it, then we'll send you the T-shirt plus a beautiful San Diego County Gun Owners hat. Ooh. Fantastic. All right, so Sam, are you there?
Good afternoon, or good evening for me. Good afternoon.
There you go. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Good. You're the firstborn son. You made it through Passover. You have everything to be happy about.
I'm not the firstborn son, but close enough.
Aren't you? See, how does that work? Because you have an older half-brother, right? So, I don't know.
Ask a rabbi. You've got plenty over there.
All right, I'll ask a rabbi.
There you go.
Stick around for our next segment, Ask a Rabbi.
Ask a Rabbi.
If you send a question and we use it. No. Okay. All right. Ready for this? The question is, and this was sent in by Rich from Chula Vista. Rich wants to know if you know what are swocks? SWOCKS. What are swocks?
You know, I think you got me there. Rich from Chula Vista, congratulations. You stumped me hands down.
It's a swocks. SWOCKS. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a it's a nickname. It's not a real industry term. It's a nickname in the 90s.
Well, most of the real industry terms are nicknames anyway. Yeah, I don't know.
And you notice he's honest.
Drawing a blank here.
You notice he's honest because he could have jumped on his phone, asked Siri, and she would have already told him, but he didn't do that.
It's true.
Integrity.
I didn't know either. I'm not sure how Rich even found this question, but I liked it. In 1994, Smith & Wesson introduced the Sigma series of pistols, which was Smith.
Oh, yep, I've got it. Okay. Yeah, I haven't heard that term before, but I know what it's referring to now.
All right.
The Smith & Wesson Sigma pistols, the early ones, were basically carbon copies of the Glock. There's this history between the two companies. Glock beat Smith to the punch with a pistol in .40 Smith & Wesson, their own in-house caliber, and Smith & Wesson were really, really pissed. So what they did was they figured, okay, Glock's going to steal our caliber, we're going to steal their gun. And so they cloned the Glock and put it out for sale. And a Glock representative found out that it was basically an exact carbon copy. And so it actually went to court. And as part of the settlement, Smith & Wesson had to actually modify the Sigma series pistols so that they wouldn't be so similar to the Glock. And that lineage went through the Sigma series to the SW series and finally the SD9 and SD40 that you can find on store shelves today.
Exactly right. The SW in swocks is, of course, Smith & Wesson, and the OKC is Glock. So it's a Smith & Wesson Glock. And you're absolutely right. Glock sued Smith & Wesson, and Smith & Wesson had to pay an undisclosed sum, and they were allowed to continue production of the line with some amendments. They actually describe it. I'm not sure if amendments is the proper term. I think they had to actually change the gun significantly in certain places. But that's what a SWOC is.
How long ago was that?
90-something.
Back in the 90s.
94. 1994 is when it was actually introduced.
Gotcha.
Supposedly the changes were made to the fire control group, particularly the SEER, but I'm not sure how much validity there is to that. This stuff isn't exactly public record, so...
I don't even know. I'm not sure I've messed around with the Sigma series pistol. Are they still even in production?
The SD series are, yeah. We sell them pretty regularly because they're a good budget-priced alternative to the M&P and other handguns in that class.
What's your opinion? Have you ever broken one down? Are they really similar to Glocks?
Well, they're really similar in Glocks in so much as any modern polymer-framed striker-fired pistol is. I mean, they're all basically the same thing. There are some similarities, but I'm not sure how much of that is cloning it as much as every other manufacturer has done versus, trying to steal Glock's pistol. So I can't really give you a good answer, but, I mean, they're okay. They're fine. I would still take a Glock any day. They're much nicer.
It's hard to clone perfection.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, what Smith did with the SW and SD was made it cheaper, and so that's why people still buy them.
When you're at the shop, field strip one, just break one down and take a picture of it and send it to me. I just want to see what the parts look like in relation to a Glock. That'll be interesting. So,
will do.
Yeah.
Are they on the roster here?
Yeah, I was going to say, it looked like a bunch of other off-roster guns, right?
You know what I mean?
I don't know. If it was out in the 90s, there's reason to believe they should be on the roster because that predates, the roster. So hopefully.
Well, but they just keep paying the fee each year to keep it on there.
They keep paying the fee, and they haven't changed it significantly. It should still be on the roster, but I don't know. That's a good question if it's on the roster.
So By the way, speaking of Glocks and rosters, the next time any of you guys are in a free state and you can get your hands on a Gen 5 Glock, feel that trigger. It didn't occur to me that you guys don't have access to them, but it's a significant improvement over what you're used to with the Gen 3.
Oh, well, thanks for rubbing that in. Appreciate that.
Yeah, happy Easter.
But ours are safer, though.
Yeah, ours are safer.
According to Newsom.
All right, well, awesome job. I don't know if we can give that one. I don't know if you can officially put that in the win column. I had to give you a pretty major hint there, but
yeah, no, I'm not sure I would count that. You can give me I'm not keeping track. You could score it as a half point or as 0 points. Whatever.
How about a mulligan because it's Easter?
It's a mulligan because it's Easter, but it was pretty amazing that once. I mean, he knew the situation. He knew what was going on. He knew the history. In fact, he knew more than I had researched and wrote down here. I don't know if the term swocks had made it into his study material, maybe.
Yeah, no, I had never heard that before, so I guess that's the signal to everyone listening that a surefire way to stump me is to figure out a thing that I probably know about and then research the most obscure term for it that you can.
That and wheel guns. Wheel guns, yeah.
Yeah, really old wheel guns. I'm not too good on those either.
There you go.
Oh, well.
I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
All right.
Well,
God just
simply wrong would have done just fine, but
Wow.
Oh,
Jeez.
our board ops board.
Yeah, that's rough. Well, all right, buddy. Well, thank you, Sam. You did a fantastic job. And again, Gun Prom, our Second Amendment celebration dinner, has been moved to August 15th, which is Sam's 21st birthday.
Ooh.
So if you were not sure if you were going to go to our Second Amendment celebration dinner, then instead come to Sam's birthday celebration dinner, which is same price, same date, same location.
And bring him a present.
And
don't do that.
And that's August 15th. Go to gunprom.com. Come meet Sam. Sam, you're coming, right?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, he's coming to celebrate his birthday with us. So anyway, think of a question for him. Try to stump him right there on the spot. But thank you so much, Sam. You did an awesome job as always.
Well, thanks for showing me a good time. I always enjoy this.
It's our pleasure, my friend. All right, folks. Hey, this is Gun Sports Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
And don't forget, podcasts. Go to any of our podcast platforms, and you can get any of our older shows. And again, go to San Diego County Gun Owners next week, and you can watch us live on Facebook. And we want to thank all our sponsors on FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
This program is sponsored by Dave Stahl.
Socialism has not worked any place in this world.
FM 96.1 North County.
And we're running down